Hey everybody, it's me, Whit McClendon, and I'm back for another edition of my vlog, as I've been told that this is. Anyway, several things going on. Just got back from the Space City Comic-Con here, well, it was a couple of weeks ago, and that's my second time at that convention, or any convention for that matter, and I had a ball. We set up two booths. I'm not sure why they gave us two booths, but these were end caps, which was really great, and they were twice as big as last year. We didn't know it was going to be twice as big as last year in terms of the size of the booth. Last year we had one little table at the end of the row there. Well, now we had two, and not only we had that and another booth entirely. So we set up in pretty much the same area we did before, facing the celebrities. Got to meet a lot of really cool folks. Ron Perlman, Sandal Bergman from Conan, C. Thomas Howell, Adrian Paul, Brent Spiner, Marina Sirtis, lots of other folks were there. Hacksaw Jim Duggan. I mean, we had a blast. Sam J. Jones from Flash Gordon. Got some signed pictures and some selfies, and I think I put all those pictures up here on my website and probably on Facebook as well. Anyway, it was a really great experience. I know that there was some kerfuffle behind the scenes with the promoter and the lack of payment to some of the talent that was coming to the event, and that was extremely unfortunate. Very sorry to hear about that. I hope that they remove that guy and the Space City Comic-Con can come back stronger in 2017, because I'll go. I'll have a ball. Got to meet a lot of great people. Several people showed up and were very happy to see me because they had bought Mage's Burden last year, and they were very excited to get their hands on Garth's Road. I mean, how gratifying is that as an author to have people who've waited to see you and they come and they buy your stuff? That was really, really fun for me, and got to talk with some of them, and sold lots of books for both Mage's Burden and Garth's Road for new people who've never read it at all. One thing that was really interesting for me was that a lot of folks that came by, we talked briefly about my books and so forth, and they either bought it or they didn't, but a number of them were very eager to tell me about their own stories that were floating around in their head. Well, I've got this idea for a book, and then they would launch into this, often very detailed and story filled with interesting characters and interesting settings and so forth. And the thing that I would love is that their eyes would just light up with passion as they would tell this story that has been floating around in their head. And in many ways, these people are no different from me. I had a story, and I've just been working at getting it out there and putting it down on paper so it actually is a story, a thing that people can read and enjoy or not enjoy. It's up to you. So anyway, but there were quite a handful of them who stopped by and were very passionate about their story ideas. And to each and every one of them, I say, go write it. Go sit down and write it. Write the thing. I think one of the things that I deal with on a daily basis is helping people to overcome fear. Fear can be really debilitating, and in such an insidious, sneaky way that folks don't even know it's happening. If you have ever wanted to take a dance class or go learn how to do something, but then you thought, no, I'm going to be terrible at that. I shouldn't do it. That's fear. That's fear talking. It's sneaky. It's keeping you from learning or doing or experiencing something that you might have really enjoyed, but fear got in the way and managed to hold you back. A lot of these folks, they have this idea floating around in their head, but in talking with them, they were afraid they wouldn't be able to do it well, or they were afraid that people wouldn't like it. And fear was keeping them from putting this story idea that they obviously enjoyed up here. It kept them from putting it down on paper. And so I will always encourage people to try and fight that fear with action. Do something about it. write that story. It could be a 2-page story. It may end up being a series. You may stink as a writer, but you can improve. You can learn how to be a better writer. If you're really passionate about that story floating around in your head, well, write that sucker down. See what happens. Once it's on the page, you can fuss with it. You can change it. You can make it better. You can make it better. You can make it better. You can have someone help you make it better. But, in the end, it would still be your story. So don't let fear hold you back from whatever it is that you're trying to do or that you might want to do. Try it. Start it. Get some help if you need to. No crime in getting some help when you don't know what you're doing. So anyway, that was one of the things that happened at the Space City Comic-Con that was notable that I thought I would talk about here. So many people had those ideas for stories but had not yet written them down. So go get to work. After I finish here, I'm going to go right back to working on my story. I've got 6 or 7 chapters to go. Very excited. Ran into a little bit of a stumbling block there near the end recently. I was writing along, following my outline, and it just didn't feel right. It didn't sound right. The little videos in my head that I was seeing, it wasn't resonating with me, and so I had to let it stew for a while. It wasn't really writer's block. It was more, have you ever been to a buffet and there's so many items you don't know where to start? Okay, well, I kind of had that going on. As a writer, one of the great things is that you can write anything you want. And sometimes the troubling part of being a writer is that you can write anything you want. With an infinite number of choices, what do you settle on? So that was the thing. I had this going in a direction and it just wasn't resonating. So I finally figured out what should be different. I figured out how it should go. And now I'm very excited because now I want to get in there and finish it so that not only so that y'all can read it, but so that I can read it. I want to see what happens. I want to see how this goes. So anyway, that's the update. That's what's going on. 4th of July is around the corner. I'm going to see if I can't get this thing finished up by then. So now I'm looking for my controls. I got to stop this video. I hope you have a great weekend.